Welcome, everybody. Michael Lazaroff here from Jazz Cruises. Excited to be talking to you all about the Jazz Cruise 24. We have a whole bunch of people trying to get on this call, so we're going to hold off for like a minute or two, but then we're going to dive right in. You are free to type in questions whenever you want. At the top right of your screen, you'll see a red arrow, and if you activate that, you can then type in a question, and it'll come directly to us here in our conference room. We have a whole host of people here that are going to write down the questions and help me with the answers. Again, welcome. It's a thrill to have you here, and we'll start in about 2 minutes. Thank you. We're back, and we're going to get started. A couple of housekeeping things. We do record these, and there'll be a link on the website where you can listen to the entire webinar, and there'll be a link in the Saturday edition of the Weekender down at the bottom, so you'll be able to find that too. But feel free to ask whatever questions. That the purpose of this is to get you guys as ready for this cruise as we. What did I do? Sorry about that. Okay. We are really excited about this cruise. We always are about the Jazz Cruise. This year is just a little bit different in that we had more time and we had more people available to help with our programming, and we got a much earlier start. So we were able to contact every single musician to find out what they wanted to do and what kind of ideas they had. And you will find on this cruise, there are more special shows, unique configurations, fun things than we've had on any other cruise. And again, that is largely because we had more time. One of the reasons why we have more time is the cruise is sold out, and so we could divert time from marketing to a programming, which is always fun. We're sailing from Thursday, January 18th to Thursday, January 25th. We are leaving out of Miami. We are on a Celebrity Summit. For those who were on the cruise last time, the Summit is the sister ship of the ship that we used last time. It is almost identical. There are a couple of venues that are named differently, but if you were blindfolded, put on the ship, and started walking around afterwards, you wouldn't be able to tell which ship which of the two ships you were on. This is the other Celebrity ship in the Millennium class that has completed the Revolution upgrade. So all the rooms are newer, brand new bedding, and our team visited the ship Monday, just a couple days ago, and they said that it looks absolutely terrific, and we were able to secure many of the lead staff people from Celebrity who have been on our cruises for years. So that is cool. The ports of call are a private island of Labadee, Puerto Plata, and St. Thomas. We're now going to talk about the online check-in with a Celebrity, and for that, we're going to turn to Aubrey Pavlik, who is our guest relations manager, and she's going to walk you through that and also walk you through how you do your pre-cruise planner. Aubrey?
Thanks, Michael. Online check-in is required for all guests, and it can easily be completed using your Celebrity Cruises account. So you're going to need to go to the link that's provided here, which is celebritycruises.com/account. And you can either sign in if you already have an account, or you can create an account if you do not have one yet. And after that point, the Jazz cruise should automatically show up as an upcoming cruise for you. So starting on December 4th, 2023, which is 45 days prior to the cruise, online check-in process becomes available, and you can access this by simply clicking Start Check-in within your Celebrity Cruises account. This can be completed anytime up until January 15th of 2024, which is 3 days prior to our embarkation. The process is really pretty simple. It leads you through a step-by-step procedure. It should really only take you less than 15 minutes, but you will want to have your passport, a credit card, and your Celebrity Cruises reservation number handy when you're going to complete this. During the process, you will also be asked to pick a window of time that you're going to be arriving to the terminal. And these are available in half-an-hour windows between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. You should really take your travel time into consideration when selecting this. For instance, if your flight arrives at 10:30 a.m., we would not recommend selecting the 11 a.m. window because you're likely going to miss that time frame. So just trying to keep in mind when you're actually going to be arriving there and abiding by that window. And if you do arrive outside of that selected time period, you may encounter a bit of a wait time prior to boarding. After you complete your online check-in, your Express Pass will be available for you to download and print. And the Express Pass is also very important as it serves as your boarding pass on embarkation day. And then starting at 30 days prior to embarkation, which is December 19th, Celebrity's luggage tags will become available for you to print also within your Celebrity Cruises account. So you will want to print these out and attach these to each piece of your luggage once you arrive into the Miami area. And this is also a very important step as it tells the Celebrity Cruises, the porters outside, and then Celebrity Cruises on board where to deliver your luggage. Moving on to Celebrity Cruises pre-cruise planner. It's another helpful tool that you can use prior to the cruise and can be accessed by clicking the Plan My Cruise button within your Celebrity account. You can make specialty dining reservations, book beverage packages, shore excursions, internet packages, spa treatments, and other amenities all online in the comfort of your own home. The best prices on these items are going to be through the pre-cruise planner, and prices do increase once we get on board the ship. We at Jazz Cruises have worked with Celebrity to get special pricing on both beverage and internet packages, and those are reflected within the pre-cruise planner. So you will see some discounts on those that we suggest you take advantage of if you're interested in those items. If you do choose to wait until you're on board, to make these purchases. Unfortunately, you're going to need to visit various areas of the ship in order to book these different items.
Aubrey,
Right now, yes.
if a guest is staying at a pre-cruise hotel and using our transportation to the terminal, what should they do for their terminal arrival time
Great question.
on their check-in? Yes.
Yes. So we would like those guests who are utilizing the pre-cruise transportation to select the latest time frame, which is going to be the 2:30 to 3 p.m. slot. And that does not mean that you're going to actually arrive during that time. We will override that, and you will go and have a priority lane with the buses when you arrive.
We think that they will probably board the bus around what time, do you think? 11?
Starting, yes.
Okay. And there will be multiple buses. When you arrive at the pre-cruise hotel, there will be information provided to you. Plus, you will receive some information about it prior to getting there. Okay?
Okay, and then the last item on the pre-cruise planner is that it is currently available to all of our booked guests. So you can make purchases or modifications, or even if you wanted to cancel a purchase, you can do that up until 3 days prior to the cruise. So again, you just need to sign into your Celebrity Cruises account or create one if you don't have one yet, and then select which items that you would like to purchase.
Okay. Thanks, Aubrey. Teresa Dennis, who is in charge of all of our sales, is going to talk about the boarding requirements. These are the things that you're going to need in order to get onto the ship. Teresa?
Thank you. While preparing for your cruise, you want to ensure that you have located everything essential to boarding the ship. We'll start with your passport. We strongly recommend that everyone travels with a valid passport expiring no less than 6 months beyond the final day of your cruise. That means July 25th. So take out your passport, make sure you have located it, make sure it's valid through July 25th. Next, before we sail, please make sure that you know if you require a visa to travel. The best way to find out if you require a visa to either board in Miami or to enter any of the ports of call would be to contact the embassy of each of the countries on our itinerary. They can help identify if you need any specific visa requirements, forms, or if there are any fees based on your nationality. U.S. citizens will not require additional documentation to sail or visit any of our ports of call. Next, you will want to print your Express Pass. This will act as your boarding pass in the cruise terminal. You will be able to print this after you complete your online check-in in your Celebrity Cruises account starting December 4th. Another thing that you will want to prepare would be any medications or supplies that you will need while away from home. Be prepared to keep with you in the terminal any, again, medication, supplies in a carry-on bag. When you arrive at the terminal or at the pier, you will actually hand off your luggage to Celebrity Cruise Line porters that will deliver your belongings to your stateroom on the ship. Because you will be separated from your luggage for a period of time, you want to make sure that you keep with you any important things like, again, medications or valuable items. Finally, everyone is allowed to hand carry on board non-alcoholic beverages such as bottled water or soda. You can also bring on board with you 1 bottle of wine or champagne per person that is 750 milliliters or less. So if you're interested in bringing any beverages with you, you'll want to prepare those before the cruise.
Now we're going to talk about embarkation day, the boarding process. We're all down there. It is now January the 18th, and we're getting ready to board. Aubrey is going to walk us through most of this. Go ahead, Aubrey.
Okay, so as Michael mentioned before, we are going to be boarding the ship in Terminal G at Port of Miami. So when you're arriving into that area, you can look for the Celebrity Summit or Terminal G signage if you're driving yourself, or if you are taking a taxi or Uber, you can just let the driver know that you are on the Celebrity Summit, which is departing out of Terminal G. So there are a few steps that you should follow to ensure that you have the best boarding experience upon arriving at the terminal. And first and foremost, we just ask that you follow your terminal arrival time. As I just mentioned, you're required to select that terminal arrival time during the online check-in process. And embarkation has significantly improved by implementing these boarding windows. It just really helps with the guest flow within the terminal. So we ask that you do abide by the time that you selected. The terminal opens at 11 a.m. and you must be in the terminal by 3 p.m. And there are a few must-have items that you should have easily accessible upon arriving to the terminal. This includes your passport, your express pass, any medications that you have or need, as well as any personal items that you would need within the first couple of hours upon boarding the ship. Next up, you're going to hand over your luggage to the porters. So we already talked about printing the celebrity luggage tags after you complete the online check-in process, and that starts at 30 days prior to the cruise. You'll be able to print those out. So we recommend placing those onto your luggage once you've arrived into the Miami area. They are not super durable, they're just paper, and they require a stapler to fasten. So you just want to make sure that you do have those on board your luggage prior to arriving to the terminal. If you do happen to forget that piece of information, you can ask the porters for a blank one, and they will assist you with writing your cabin number in there. However, we really suggest making sure that you have the printed ones, as it is a little bit easier to read and probably a better reassurance that it's going to be delivered to your correct stateroom.
Aubrey, do you want to share with them the a clear luggage tag option?
Absolutely. So there are clear plastic luggage holders that basically you can slip the printed luggage tag from Celebrity right in there, and that's available via Amazon. We will send a link out to a potential option for you within our next Get Ready email, but it really does make that paper luggage tag a lot more travel friendly, and it ensures that it's going to not be ripped off of your suitcase.
Yeah, let me just interrupt for a second. Almost everything that we have said thus far has been shared in one or more of our Get Ready letters, and I just want to walk you through that. In fact, Monday, you're going to get a Get Ready letter number 6, which is actually going to have all the information about the clear luggage tags. But if you go on the website and you click on Booked Guests, you'll see about 6 or 7 different options, and one of them is a Get Ready letters, and it has everything in tremendous detail. And at the back of every a Get Ready letter, particularly the one that you're going to get on Monday, it has a summary of these really, really key items. If I were you, I would print them out and keep them, put them in a notebook, whatever, because even if you think you know them, they are instantaneous references, and there's phone numbers and links and all kinds of things. Okay, Aubrey, sorry.
Thank you. So after you make sure that your luggage tags are still on your luggage, you're going to hand over your luggage to the porters that are all readily available right outside of the terminal. We like to say that tipping is the international sign of gratitude, and the porters are certainly no exception. They really appreciate tips for good service, and it will definitely help ensure that your luggage makes it on board the ship and to your stateroom.
And
After you-
furthermore, non-tipping may assure that your luggage is on the cruise ship next star.
Very true. Okay, so after you hand over your luggage, you're going to enter the terminal and complete your registration. So if you've already completed your online check-in and arrived to the terminal within your selected window, the process is really incredibly fast. There's very limited waiting time involved in the embarkation process now. And then you're going to board the ship when you're called. So with Celebrity's arrival windows, again, there's really not much time frame that you're going to be waiting within the terminal itself. Typically, once you complete the final steps of the registration process within the terminal, you're going to walk right on board. And that is it.
Terrific. Okay. Teresa, you want to talk about actually boarding the ship?
Yes. When you board, your stateroom should be ready for occupancy. So again, be sure to pack the essentials in a carry-on, just in case you might want to freshen up before going out and exploring the ship or grabbing lunch. When you board, you will actually pick up your cruise identification card. It will be inside an envelope in the mail slot at your stateroom door. It will be roughly the size of a credit card. It will have either a blue or red background, which will identify if you're going to the first or second main stage show, which is also noted on your cruise reservation. Yes, and the first and second show are for those two special shows during the week.
Which I'll talk about later.
Which we'll get to.
Yes.
Yeah. Your cruise identification card is very important. It will function as your room key, your charge card for onboard purchases, and as well as your identification card when you're boarding and disembarking the ship. Next, your luggage that you checked with the porters outside in the terminal will be delivered to your stateroom on or by 6 p.m. after it has undergone a TSA-style security check. So you will start, when you're boarding, you'll start seeing luggage being delivered to all staterooms on board. Also, when you board, you can expect to receive a few different items, such as a welcome letter. This is a helpful guide for acquainting you with the ship, identifying locations for various amenities on board. It will also list a few different reminders and helpful tips, just something you can reference throughout the week. You will also receive a souvenir program, which will be a beautiful memento that will feature photos, artist bios, that will take an in-depth look at performers on board. Finally, you will receive a custom Jazz Cruise lanyard. This will be really the perfect size for storing your cruise identification card and keeping up with that throughout the week. That's about it.
Okay. Aubrey's going to talk to you about lunch and what else you need to do from the time you board until we sail.
Okay, so once you board the ship, we really suggest grabbing a bite to eat. There are a couple different options depending on what type of stateroom you've booked. So the Ocean View Cafe, which is the main buffet and kind of set up in stations, is on deck 10, and that will be open for lunch beginning at 11:30 a.m. If you're booked into a suite, you have the option of attending a private lunch in Luminae, which is on deck 4 and aft, and that's from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. And finally, if you are booked into an Aqua or Concierge class cabin, you also have a private lunch available to you in the main dining room on deck 5, and that is also available from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. If you were unable to complete some of the reservations and purchases via Celebrity Cruises pre-cruise planner, the time between boarding and sail away party is really a great time to do this. Unfortunately, as we've mentioned before, there's not really a one-stop shop once you get on board for all the different various items. So if you wanted to book a massage and purchase a tour, the spa would be located on deck 10, but the shore excursions desk is on deck 3. So again, we really encourage you to take advantage of the pre-cruise planner for the time savings as well as for the monetary savings that are available right now. That being said, once you get on board, spa reservations are available in the spa, which is deck 10 forward. Specialty dining reservations will be available via stations that are set up in the grand foyer on deck 3 or outside of the Ocean View Cafe on deck 10. Beverage packages can be purchased at any bar or with any server. Internet packages are available if you connect to the Wi-Fi Guest Summit and follow the instructions that will pop up in order to make the purchase. And finally, shore excursions are also available via the shore excursions desk, which is on deck 3.
Cool. Okay. One of the things that you must do between the time that you board and the time that we sail is to go through the mandatory safety procedure. Back in the day, you used to have to take your a life preserver and go out on deck, and it was a kind of a silly event out there. Then they moved it inside, and it was just a little bit less silly. Well, now it's not silly at all. You just have to go to your muster station, which you can find on your cruise identification card or on the back of the door of your stateroom, and you go to that muster station, check in, and they will explain the safety procedure. This is not optional. We cannot sail until every guest has in fact done that. So that's important. Also, during this time, it really is a good time to kind of explore the ship. For those who haven't been on this ship before, there's some easy rules. Most of the entertainment venues are in the front of the ship. The main dining room is in the back of the ship. The Ocean View Cafe that is on deck 10, and the specialty restaurants are all over the place. And it is good to see them. In terms of the entertainment venues, there is the main celebrity theater, and we're going to talk later about what kind of shows are there, and a seating the Sky Lounge, that's on deck 11, and that's really cool. It's on top of the ship. It has a window alignment that goes around the back of the ship. It's very, very pretty during the day. You can see out, and at night it is wonderful. It's also just a really great music venue. We have the Rendezvous Lounge, which is in the middle of the ship, deck 4, but it goes from one side of the ship to the other. It isn't small by any stretch, and it has its own stage and bar, and it probably looks more like a jazz club than any other venue that is on the ship. One of the reasons that we were so excited about going to the Celebrity Millennium class ships is the Cosmopolitan Dining Room, which is the main dining room. And it isn't because that's where they serve food. It's because we knew that we could turn that room into a terrific late night jazz club, but we also do some things in the afternoon. In the evening, it is a cabaret style club, and we have special programming there. There are some shows in the afternoon. We do some other things there, and it really is a terrific opportunity for us. Dining venues, the Cosmopolitan Restaurant, that is the main dining room. It serves breakfast and dinner every day, and it serves lunch on days at sea. Luminé is a kind of high-end, trendy specialty restaurant, upcharge. That is a place that I know personally I go to a lot. Blue, on a customary celebrity cruise ship, is sort of a health food kind of vibe. And we at Jazz Cruises reject that notion 100% for a cruise, and we turn it into a steakhouse with blue cheese and stuffed baked potatoes and onion rings and all other things that you see on a steakhouse. So if you want healthy food, you should probably bring it yourself. I'm kidding. There are all kinds of places, but Sushi on 5 is nobody's hiding the ball there. That is a sushi restaurant, and it's on deck 5. So that Tuscan Grill is an Italian steakhouse. It is more Italian than it is a steakhouse, which is the reason why we did Jazz Cruises Chops House. That's our steakhouse, and obviously that's a play on the word chops. And a Tuscan Grill is on almost every celebrity cruise ship, and it's very high ratings. Le Petit Chef at a Cuisine. Cuisine is in the center of the ship, deck 11. I think some of our guests from last year's cruise are still trying to find it. It's they're wandering the ship. It's actually easy to find if you remember that there's only one elevator bank that goes up there, which is the center one. Le Petit Chef is a very nice dinner option, and it has a animated element to it. It's actually kind of cute. Even the most jaded of our guests love it. You're not going to go there more than once, even though the show is different every night. But it's fun. It is something different. We took the musicians up there one year, and they weren't, they were grumpy. All of a sudden, everyone's got their phones out and they're recording the whole thing. So it really is kind of fun. The Ocean View Cafe serves breakfast, lunch, brunch, afternoon snack, dinner, all kinds of things. And then there's the pool grill at your hamburgers, hot dogs, things like that. I'm going to talk about this later, but I want to talk about it now as well. One of the aspects of the Jazz Cruise is that we do it festival style, so there's music going on most of the time. Unfortunately, what that has meant over the years is people are not dining. They're not enjoying dinner, okay? So for this year, what we've done is is from 5 until 6, there is no music. And we kind of slowly bring it back a little bit after 6 so that you can go to a dining room, go to a specialty restaurant, and enjoy yourself. Last year, when I say last year, last sailing, because it was actually this year, calendar year, we were just amazed at the number of people that were having dinner in the Ocean View Cafe. It was astonishing, and really we want people to enjoy the full experience. We've got more hours of music than we've ever had, so we haven't chopped that. But what we've done is we've added more in the afternoon, and we are probably going maybe just a tad later than we did before. Okay? So that's next. Entertainment, format, and venues, some of which I've already. Randy Brecker said that this cruise is a straight ahead jazz heaven, and it is. There really isn't any other jazz event in the world that has this type of concentration of straight ahead jazz. Most jazz festivals now are hybrids. They have all kinds of different music. They retain the name jazz because of history and because it adds a little mystery to the event. But the Jazz Cruise, for, and next year's cruise will be our 25th anniversary, prides itself on being a pure jazz cruise. That doesn't mean that we don't do other things, and that's why on our programming, we identify events as either in concert, learn, or enjoy. In concert means that music will be performed. Learn may be an interview. It may be a master class. It may be all kinds of different things. And enjoy are just things that are fun. Pool parties, bridge, things that are really not music driven, but are quite a bit of fun. So the entertainment format. The Jazz Cruise is done festival style. Except for a couple of times, there are multiple shows going on at the same time. You enter any show you want, whenever you want. You leave any show you want, anytime you want. You sit first come, first serve. You pick up, you leave. It is done festival style. You are free to go. The only two times when that does not apply is the first night. We have a welcome show, and it's a really cool variety show hosted by Ken Poplowski, where a whole bunch of the musicians do a song. It is almost like an hors d'oeuvre platter. You get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and because of a unique nature of it, we do the show twice. So those who go to the first show will have a blue cruise identification card, which means that your cruise identification card has a background that is basically blue. Those who go to the second welcome show have a red cruise identification card. Again, that means that the background is basically red. Typically, when you are not in that main show, you're having dinner, either at a specialty restaurant, cosmopolitan, dining room, whatever, and then a vice versa. This is actually how all of our other cruises are run every night. So between the time of 5:15 and let's say 9 o'clock, 9:15, half of the guests are having dinner, the other half are in the show, and then vice versa. Then it opens up back to the festival style. The only other night that this takes place is the sixth night, which is formal night, because that is the night where the special show is the Jazz Cruise Hall of Fame induction show. And that's another very special show that is hosted by Christian McBride and Emmett Cohen, and we will be honoring this year's inductees to the Hall of Fame, who are Kenny Barron, Catherine Russell, and the late Lee Burke. We've got late night jams. We have passenger jams. We've got all kinds of special shows this year. Tons of interviews. Over 200 hours of music. I actually think that we're closer to 240 because we keep adding things, and I haven't counted it up. But it is really fascinating. Very, very rarely, and maybe for a 30-minute period, there'll be only one show going on. Almost all the time, there will be two and three. Every performer performs at least 4 times. You can either follow them throughout all of their performances, or you can make a list and see everybody. In terms of the performance schedule, this is something particularly for guests who have sailed with us before. When Teresa was talking about the souvenir program, notice that she did not mention the performance schedule. Historically, we have included the performance schedule in the souvenir program. That program goes to print in about a week, which is a good 50-something, 60-something days before we sail. Historically, there are so many changes that happen between then and when we sail that a performance schedule included in the souvenir program is at best worthless and at worst confusing because people rely upon it. What we're doing this year is at a certain point in time, and we haven't identified it yet, let's just say it's between 8 and 10 days prior to the cruise, we will submit to everybody a PDF that has the performance schedule, which will be updated in a real time. And when you walk on the ship, you'll be able to have that up to date. Furthermore, we're going to have an application that you can use your phone without going on the Wi-Fi that will have a performance schedule again up to date every single day. Further, your a daily program, which comes into your stateroom on the evening before, that'll have the performance schedule for the next day. And of course, if there are last minute changes, which there always are, we do that over the public address system. So hopefully we'll be able to keep you up to date, and you won't miss anything. Not having the performance schedule inside a souvenir program was a decision that we made earlier this year. It just doesn't make sense to have that performance schedule there because it's confusing. In terms of the lineup, we have Christian McBride and Emmett. They're going to be our hosts. We have some music directors. Eric Marienthal, this is the first year that he's the actual music director, which means that he fills in the slots. He tells everybody when they're performing. Shelley Berg, who's done that for a while, is the artistic director. He's sort of lending hand as to more ideas and less of the mechanics of it. His occupation and his time frame makes it very, very difficult. John Clayton will return as always as a big band director. Catherine Russell is going to host a whole bunch of special events. Ken Poplowski is the Welcome Show host. And of course, Wycliffe Gordon, for the 20-something year in a row, will be the host of the Gospel Show. We have some terrific performing groups. We are honored to have Paquito de Rivera and Chucho Valdez performing together. That is a real treat, and we've got some terrific performers, and they're all stars. They're all frontline players, and there's 100 of them, like we always do, and so that is kind of exciting. Non-music. We're going to have a recording signings and autographs. The artists are signing up for those now. We have about 5 or 6 CD listening parties where the musician will present one of their latest recordings. We're going to have wine tastings that are hosted by them. We're going to have lots of interviews of our guests, of our musicians. We may have interviews of guests, who knows? Anyway, theme nights. These are actually kind of fun. The first one is easy, Welcome to the Jazz Cruise. The second night, Black and White Night. Basically, we ask that people dress up in either all black, all white, or or a black and white is actually kind of fun. Cool jazz night. That's going to have a lot of Miles Davis stuff going on. A Sunday Kind of Love has a different vibe to it. Nothing that you have to know, no dress attire, but we are going to tailor the music accordingly. Ladies' Day and Night, we're going to have a day and night where we highlight ladies in jazz, and we do lots of special things for the ladies that are on the ship. On the town, that is our dress-up night. Dress up back in the days was literally tuxedos and ball gowns. Then it was suits and ties, and now it's primarily jackets, open collar shirts, and women get away with wearing just about anything as long as it is sort of like a night on the town, a night that you're going to a nice dinner and to the theater. So it is just a little bit different. That's when the formal night dinner is offered. We have our Jazz Cruise Hall of Fame event, and then last night we celebrate the world of jazz. We have some really cool game shows that we're going to be presenting. We're going to do Band Feud. We're going to have the drummers against the piano players, just like Family Feud. We have a whole bunch of things like that. That'll be fun. And of course, Alonzo Bowden, who is our comic in resident, he is in charge of Funny, and he will be doing shows. Brad, are you on for a pickleball here? Brad?
I am here. There is the fastest growing sport in America, pickleball. There is going to be a pickleball court on board that's going to have open play for guests every day from 9 to 12. You do not need to bring rackets or paddles or balls. That will all be there on board. If you want to, if you're a highly competitive pickleball player, as I know some of you are, feel free to bring your own paddles. But it's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be games going on every day from 9 to 12. And if there's enough players, we'll set up some tournaments, and it'll be a blast.
For those who do not know, Brad and Aubrey are husband and wife, and so Brad's name is Brad Pavlik, and those initials backwards stand for pickleball. That's why he was talking about pickleball. And that's his nickname here in the office, pickleball. Okay. Morning coffee talks. We're going to have a bunch of morning coffee talks. I'll do a couple on the Saturday that we're at sea. We'll have a unison reading of the Weekender. We will take turns, kind of like church. That's a joke. And our global gathering breakfast. We like to honor all of our international guests. It's really fun. We actually go around the room and find out where everyone's from and stuff. We need your help with that because a lot of our international guests use U.S. addresses for their mailings, particularly from the cruise, so as to not delay. And also, some of them spend a considerable amount of time in Florida or Arizona or what. So if you are an international guest, which means that your country of origin and probably your passport, but that's unnecessary, is someplace other than the United States, we're asking you to send something to us to say that you want to go to a global gathering breakfast. That information will be in a Get Ready number 6, which will be going out on Monday. Okay? We have fun at that one. Non-music questions. Attire. Be comfortable, particularly your feet. You're going to walk more even if all you do is go from show to show, you're probably going to walk more on the ship than you do customarily. Make sure that your shoes are are comfortable. A jazz cruise has never been confused for a couturier, a dress up. Wear what's comfortable. Be comfortable, and that's important. Photographs and recording. There's absolutely no flash photography of any kind whatsoever on the ship, for all the safety reasons and everything else. You cannot record shows. You cannot record the music. That's not our rule. That's in every single musician's contract, and we have to enforce that. We do allow taking of non-flash photographs. The rules are these. You cannot do it in a way that interferes with the sight line or the enjoyment of the show by your fellow passengers. If you're standing in front of somebody and you're holding your phone above your head, that doesn't work. You need to either step in the aisle or go to the back of the room, but you can't do that. And we do go by a listening room concept. If you have conversations that you wish to have, they should be outside of the venue. That doesn't mean that you sit there quietly with your hands folded, because obviously applause and appreciation of the music is an integral part of any jazz event. Talking to the musicians, they love it. We ask that you not approach them immediately prior or immediately after their sets, because they need the time to set up, and after the set, we need the time to move them out to a setup for the next show. One of the things that the Jazz Cruise and Jazz Cruises prides itself on is every show begins on time and every show ends on time. And that's important for all kinds of reasons. And so talking to the musicians when they finish, or delaying their beginning really doesn't help us. There'll be all kind of merch to be signed. We've already talked about autographs, spa and shops that they're really very, very nice. It's a very nice place for nails, hair, all that stuff. They do a really, really good job. So pampering yourself is kind of a nice thing to do on the cruise. Okay. Rules and procedures for show seating. Okay. If there's an area that oftentimes becomes a contentious, this would be it. And the way that we do the festival style, there isn't any perfect way of bringing people in and out of the shows and making it fair, but we do have some rules that we think go a long way to being fair. First is all seating is first come, first served. There are no reserved seats. Okay? You get there, you pick the seat that you want, and that's the seat. Once you're inside the venue, you can save one additional seat. It can be for your cabin mate. It can be for anybody, but one. We're going to enforce that. Once the show begins, any unoccupied seat may be taken by any guest. So you can't hold it forever. Upon the conclusion of any show, we're going to ask you to exit the venue so we can clean it up and set it up for the next set. Now for the rule that will be interesting, because this is a new rule, and it is meant to bridge the gap between people that would like to see 2 shows in a row and people who are outside waiting to get into the next show. If you wish to see the next show in a particular venue, you must remain in your seat during the break time. Though each guest may save 1 additional seat, you may not save seats in absentia or by using props to designate seating. Okay, I'm going to translate that. At the end of a show, you want to see the next show, you have to remain there. Now, you can save another seat. So say that there are 2 of you. You can take turns going to the restroom. You can take turns getting a drink, doing whatever. But the only way to reserve your seats is for one of you to be there. What we will not tolerate is people taking purses and blankets and things like that and laying them across a number of seats and then going someplace and then coming back. That just isn't fair. If it's important enough to see the next show, that's how that needs to go. And unattended props will be gathered by our venue monitors and held for claiming, unless they're really nice, and then we'll put them on eBay and see if we can do something with it. That was a joke. Those are the rules. We'll see how this works. We have more ushers than we've had before. We have more travel directors than we have before. At this point, none of them will be armed, but we're gonna look at that. That was a joke. We are just trying to make sure that we balance fairness with everybody's ability to see what they want to see. Unfortunately, not every venue holds 2,000 guests. In fact, none of them hold 2,000 guests. The Celebrity Theater comfortably holds half of our guests. And so we have to have some kind of rules, and these are the rules that we're going to be using this year. Dining, Jazz Cruise Dining Hour, which I mentioned before. Dietary restrictions. In a earlier get ready letter, we give you the information to contact Celebrity Cruise Line regarding your dietary restrictions. Those will be repeated in the guest ready letter number 6. The sooner that you do that, but the ship is really pretty good about all kinds of dietary restrictions, okay? Included dining. There is no extra charge for eating in the Ocean View Cafe or the Cosmopolitan Restaurant or the Spa Cafe. The Spa Cafe is, in fact, healthy food. It is on the same deck as the pool, and it's in that area where the whirlpools are and the saunas. But they have all kinds of good stuff there, really do. Now, if you get a smoothie there, they charge for that, but the rest of it, there is no charge. And the pool grill, there is no charge. Okay. They do charge for the Pepto-Bismol that you're going to take after you've had 3 cheeseburgers. That's for sure. Specialty dining. We urge you to make reservations now, particularly because of the Jazz Cruise Dining Hour. You're gonna want to take advantage of that, and so a reservation from 5:15 to 6 or something like that may get it done for you. Luminé, we've talked about. Sushi on 5, we've talked about. Le Petit Chef, we talked about, in Jazz Cruises Chops House. I'm going to ask because I don't know. Is the Jazz Cruises Chops House menu on the website? It will
It is
be.
not. It is not.
It is not, but it will be, okay, very shortly. Because you can see the menus on the others from the Celebrity Cruise line, but this is our restaurant. We pick the items and all that stuff. Okay? Room service is now $9.95 a delivery. Okay? I'm gonna give you my my little speech on a room service. To many people, room service is an integral part of being on a cruise. It's just part of the deal, particularly breakfast. Okay, and I appreciate that and I respect that. I know where the kitchen is on this ship, and I know where your room is, and I know how many trays they put on a cart when they are delivering breakfast. And I will assure you that the odds of getting your breakfast hot and the way that you want it is remote or worse. It is faster and easier to go up to the Ocean View Cafe, make a tray, and bring that down to your room. But when room service was free, there was a balance going up there. But for $9.95 a delivery, I think that's the tiebreaker. Okay. To me, room service is if you're not feeling well, and you want to have food brought to you. And there too, I think that somebody could bring you food on a tray, and you'd be better off. But that's up to you. Takeaways. Okay, these are the important ones. Make sure that your passport is valid and that you know where it is. Okay? Do that now. Complete the online registration as soon as that service is activated. What is the date for this cruise?
January.
No. When the online registration starts.
Oh, 45 days before, that would be.
It's December 4th.
Thank you, Aubrey.
December 4th. You can begin doing that, and it stops, 72 hours before sailing? Okay.
Correct.
So get that done. Complete as many purchases and make your reservations before you boarding the ship. Not only is there not one spot to go to, but you're going to wind up standing in a line every time that you do that. It's really awkward, whereas you can sit at home and get it all done. Be alert to our announcement of the performing schedule, particularly on the Jazz Cruise. Pre-planning is really, really important. You want to look and see when your favorites are performing. You want to look and see certain events that only happen once, whereas a performing group, the Kurt Elling group, they will perform 4 different times, but a special show may only happen once. So you really want to plot out your time and utilize it well. Be sure to allow extra time to reach the cruise terminal. I've been looking at some of the questions that have been asked here. How long does it take to get from the Miami airport to the port? Miami's traffic is terrible. And we're on a Thursday. Now, you should have missed the morning rush hour, and you should be on the ship prior to the afternoon rush hour. But their traffic is awful. And there's a lot of construction in that downtown area. So allow yourself lots of time, okay? except for one night. The cruise is casual in terms of attire. Be comfortable, particularly your shoes. Your choice of clothing should reflect the fact that irons and steamers are not allowed on the ship, and dry cleaning is very expensive and takes a lot of time. I don't think there's a bring it back by dinner program. It just doesn't happen. So I know personally I bring as many things that do not require ironing as possible. That is my plan. If you plan on dining with a particular group of guests, be sure to properly submit your group dining information. That's also been shared in the get ready letters and will be repeated in a letter that you get on Monday. Okay. Take a moment to decide how you wish to spend your time when we are in port. I saw somebody mention about the fact that we're going to Haiti. We are and we aren't. We are going to the private island of Labadee. It not only is it nowhere near where there's any negative activity, but it's isolated. I mean, it just isn't. The fact that we're in Haiti has absolutely no impact whatsoever on safety or anything like that. I also saw a question that says, since we are arriving in St. Thomas at 1, does that change the music? The answer is yes. The morning will be treated like a day at sea. We're going to have all kinds of music. That's when the t-shirt party is going to be. We're going to have all kinds of things. The afternoon will be like we are in port, but we will begin the evening music at the usual time, which is 3:30, 4:30, something like that. So yes, it does matter. Try as hard as you can to leave your work, your obligations, and your worries at home. Let us take care of you for 7 days. Okay, that's our job. We will make sure that everything goes the way that you want. And be sure to pack your smile, your love of music, and your humanity. We're all together on this ship for 7 days. One of the really cool aspects of the Jazz Cruise, actually of all of our cruises, is the community of guests that enjoy each other, respect each other. They're inclusive, and they're all there for the same purpose, to enjoy this amazing music. This cruise has the finest, straight ahead jazz performers in the world. It always has, and it always will. And we should be doing everything that we can to take advantage of that and to enjoy it. The Jazz Cruise 25. That's our 25th anniversary. I remember that day in junior high school when we first started this cruise, and but it is now 25 years. Yeah. It's going to be on the Summit January 28th to February 4th. It'll be out of Fort Lauderdale. We're going to Cozumel and to Grand Cayman. We will be announcing this cruise in the next couple of weeks, early December. The lineup is completed. And if I trusted you all, I would tell you what the lineup is, but I don't. So we're all going to hear it together in early December. It is cool. We really have some really cool things to celebrate our 25th anniversary. As a guest on the 24 cruise, you will have the opportunity to rebook your current cabin at a favorable price anytime from the time we announce, which is in early December, until the third day of the Jazz Cruise 24. So you may wish to rebook ahead of time, or you can wait until we're on the ship. Okay. It is sort of like the pre-cruise planning. If you want to get it out of the way and not stand in line, although we will have a process on the ship. If you want to rebook your current cabin, that'll be expedited. That may be nothing more than just handing in a piece of paper. The last 3 days on the ship is for guests who are sailing who want a different cabin, and then open booking begins after that. So from the time that we announce until the end of the cruise, the only people that will be entitled to rebook or to book will be the people that are sailing on the 24 cruise. Heather, are there questions that you haven't answered and that I should answer? Or
We have some very specific questions that are coming in, so we are noting those, and we'll reach out to each of those guests accordingly after the webinar. Michael, there have been some questions about the ship and if it will actually arrive dockside.
All of our ports are dockside. There won't be any tendering whatsoever. Okay. If you are tendering, you did something wrong and we shipped you out. But we're going to dock everywhere.
Can you go over Ladies' Day a little bit more in depth?
We're still working on it, but that's when there'll be lots of interviews of our jazz musicians that are female. There'll be a special luncheon for the ladies on the ship. We will just orient all of our programming accordingly. Okay.
Aubrey and Teresa, can you tell our guests a little bit more about bringing drinks onto the ship, particularly wine? We have a few guests that would love to bring wine on board.
Well, and I'm going to intercede here.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing, Aubrey, that I don't think that we talked about is corkage.
Yes. So you are allowed to bring on embarkation day 1 bottle of wine, and that is not subject to a corkage fee if you have the beverage package. If you don't have the beverage package and you're choosing to open that in a restaurant, there is a corkage fee. I believe it's $40, but I would need to double check on that. And then
but if you drink it in your room, there is no corkage fee.
There is no corkage fee, correct. And then as far as other drinks, you are able to bring water, sodas, kind of bottled beverages on board, again, only on embarkation day. And that is the amount that you can hand carry. So there is not necessarily a hard limit to those items, but you would need to hand carry those on yourself.
Okay, next.
We had a few questions surrounding Passenger Jam. Can you talk about Passenger Jam a little bit?
Yeah. In an upcoming Get Ready letter, there'll be a detailed a program for that. Passenger Jam starts every day other than the first day of the boarding day at 9:00. It is in the what's that area called, Aubrey? The wine cellar.
It's right off of Cellar Masters.
Cellar Masters. That's what I was looking for. And we set it up with we'll have a drum kit, we'll have a keyboard, we'll have lots of different stuff, and it is for passengers to play music together. We have one of our musicians comes for an hour to kind of work with everybody, and that's usually the last hour, which would be 2 to 3 p.m. This began years ago, and it actually began on a very informal basis of passengers just bringing their instruments and just jamming. Now it is a little more formal. It operates by itself, meaning the players run it, and so hopefully it is run in a friendly, democratic way, and everybody gets to perform. And I believe that to be the case. But we provide a stand-up bass. We provide lots of different things. But most of the guests who play instruments that you can hand carry, they bring their own. Is that an answer, or are you looking for more? Okay, next.
We have some questions surrounding the past get readies that have been sent out. Teresa, can you tell the guests where they can access that information online?
Yes, you can view all of the previous Get Ready emails that were sent on the website, thejazzcruise.com. You will click on the Booked Guest tab, and that will, which is at the top. If you're on a computer, it's at the top in the blue bar. You want to click there. The Booked Guest tab will pull up a number of different options to choose from. You'll want to click on the Get Ready Series box that's located there, and you can actually open up each and every email that was sent.
And again, I strongly recommend that you print them out. At the very least, they are terrific reading on the plane down. Anything else?
We had a few guests ask about whether they should bring light jackets or not.
Absolutely. The regulating the temperature on the ship is extremely difficult. Most of our guests probably would say that the venues are cold. Okay? And so, yes. I think that, obviously layers is the way to go, but the theaters, depending upon how many people are in there, the time of the day, whether we are in port or we're at sea, the temperature can vary quite a bit. Okay.
Michael, will there be a Name That Tune contest hosted by Ken Poplawski this year?
Obviously, this is someone who's sailed before. Yes. The answer is yes. Yes, there is. We have some other contests too, by the way. We decided to go heavy on that.
Mm-hmm. This is another guest who sailed with us a long time. Michael, with Emmett Cohen and Ben Patterson, two excellent organists, will be on board. Will there be a Hammond in one of the tunes?
The answer is yes. They make a relatively portable Hammond now. So, it won't be the gigantic Hammond, but it is the same traveling Hammond B3 that Joey DeFrancesco used for the last 3 or 4 times that he was on the ship. And there'll be a pool party that'll be now I am letting you in on a secret. There'll be a organ-driven pool party. We're gonna have the Battle of the Organ. Okay. According to Heather, the rest of your questions relate to individual reservations, and we will get back to you. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you ever have any questions of me, my email address is at the bottom of the hour take of every edition of The Weekender. I'm happy to respond. Our goal, which it has been for 20-something years, is to make this the greatest straight ahead jazz festival in the world, and to have fun. And I think you're gonna love the programming. What I can tell you is that the level of involvement by the individual musicians this year is higher than I can ever remember. They're all, I shouldn't say all, the overwhelming majority are offering ideas, and it's actually pretty cool. So we are very, 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 very much looking forward. The Jazz Cruise, this was the first cruise we ever did in 2001. And it's still rocking and socking. Okay. Thank you all very much, and thank you for your support of the Jazz Cruise. And if there's anything that any of us at a Jazz Cruises LLC can do for you, do not hesitate to ask. That is why we're here. Thank you.